Well, hi. Today is Thursday, August 28th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Guess what? High school football is back, and there is a game coming up tonight that I think is going to be pretty packed and should generate a lot of interest. Now, it is a cross-class game with 1A taking on 3A. However, Underwood is on the road tonight to face the Cyclones in Harlan. Both of these teams are ranked in their individual classes. Harlan is going in Class 3A ranked number 6. Underwood in Class 1A is ranked number 8. And there's a lot of excitement with this game. Underwood playing up a couple of classes to take on the Cyclones, and I'm excited to see how this one works out. So that game is coming up tonight. So because of that, and then tomorrow we'll have games all across the region, I thought we should do a high school football preview show, and let's go out and get Travis Waldstein, who is a huge sports fan. All of his children went through Lewis Central, and Lewis Central's got a huge game coming up tomorrow night too. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Underwood, Tri-Center, also St. Albert. We got Glenwood on the list, and of course LC and TJ and AL. All of these area schools. Trainers ranked also. So we've got a great amount of talent in high school football right here in our region. And Travis and I are going to discuss that on today's show. Navigating the healthcare system can be challenging, frustrating, and time-consuming for you and your family. That's where My Nurse Healthcare in Council Bluffs steps in. Nurse advocates providing one-on-one guidance and support every step of the way. With a dedicated nurse by your side, you'll get the right care from the right provider at the right time. Visit mynursehealthcare.com and let them take the stress out of healthcare. And if you need precision metal fabrication done right, Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs is ready to go to work. From custom welding to large-scale manufacturing, they bring your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. Are you maybe looking for an idea for a sign for your man cave? Get some mugs custom etched and for marketing for your business. Foxcofab.com is the website. They've got a lot of examples of things that they've already completed. It might spring an idea in your own head. Rick loves the one-offs and the unique things. So go to foxcofab.com to learn more. As we said, it is time for a high school football preview with our own Travis Waldstein, Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning, and Waldstein Plumbing, who has his finger on the pulse of all things high school sports around the area. How about that?
Well, I don't know.
Do I sound too radio again?
We might need to check that pulse. There's some people that might tell you, or maybe it's a heart. Maybe that's what. I think my wife said I got no heart. That's what it is.
Well, we'll save that for.
There's a pulse.
we'll save that for your marriage therapy. But in the meantime, we're going to talk some high school football, which, by the way, there's high expectations all across the region for what we are going to be seeing out of these teams. And, let's just start with where the district that you live in and all of your kids went through, Lewis Central, who has had obviously a lot of success in the recent years. We've got the last two defending state champions in Class 4A going at it week one with North Polk on the road at Lewis Central.
Yeah, which I think that's a great matchup as far as, two defending state champions. If you look, if you take a look, they're already, it's last two state champions, whether they're ranked, whether they're ranked or they're not ranked. I don't think it matters. Obviously, LC is coming in, depends on which poll. You take a look at it. I think we were talking the other night. Cedar Rapids Gazette's got them number 2 behind Xavier over at eastern half of the state. Our Radio Iowa, I think, it's got LC rated number 6. I know North Polk last year, they're the defending state champions, but my understanding is they're just outside of the top 10, but it sounds like they had a lot of turnover. But when you're a defending state champion, and you take a look at the area of North Polk, it's right outside that, just that Des Moines metro area. It's like Van Meter, Southeast Polk is kind of on the fringe where a lot of people want to live and work. So I got to believe, if they got the coaches in place, with the players in place, that they're going to be able to probably reload. But that whole central Iowa area, as far as that goes, so we got. It is week one, so we don't know where we're at right now. We could be 3 weeks from now, and who knows what the rankings will look like with high school football. But it's gonna be. It's gonna be a heck of a matchup at Titan Stadium. So.
Yeah, we talked about it before, Travis, that the last two times that Lewis Central started the season 2-2, they went on to win the state championship.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
it's
Being
not
doesn't mean a darn thing. So.
not anymore. No, not anymore.
Oh.
All right. So also, and we're kind of putting a focus here on the ranked teams that are going to be doing battle. Let's talk about the one that shocked the world, or at least shocked our part of the state last year, and that's the Trojans from Tri-Center winning the state championship after never having won even a playoff game up to that point. And they ran the table. Now they're back, and they got a lot of skill players back. However, they didn't bring the coach back. They have a new coaching staff there. So it's kind of we're not really sure what we're going to see out of them. We expect them to be good. However, and I'll talk about this because we're talking about rankings. And if you talk to any high school coach anywhere in the state, they'll discount them. They'll say they don't matter, and especially preseason. Yeah, maybe not, but it is definitely bulletin board material for whoever it is playing them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When you take a look, I just pulled Des Moines Register poll here too. So they got LC number 2 in that poll. So it's kind of rated down. But Tri-Centers in the top 10 are rated 5th. They've got Underwood and Trainer, 7th and 8th. So if you talk that district as far as 1A, and I believe St. Albert's actually kicks off with Tri-Center, if I remember right. They
do.
Yeah. So, but, and I think I'm talking to Donnie Woods about 3 weeks ago. I think Donnie Woods is feeling pretty good about his program. He's finally got some kids that have been in the program 2-3 years and been hitting the weights hard. And I think numbers are up from what I'm understanding. So I think he's really hoping to be able to compete. Now, the district's not going to be easy. It's, once they get into district play, it's not going to be easy for them. But you have to think that they're pretty excited as far as looking at their schedule goes. So, they start off with Tri-Center, they followed by ICAM, Loma. Logan's always pretty good, and then West Monona. So if you take a look at their schedule, then they got Riverside and then Woodbury Central. And where was I said Woodbury Central? I know there's been years in the past I've seen Woodbury. Yeah, Woodbury Central is ranked number 8, in Class A. So they're playing up a 1A team that's won the state title to start the year. But if things fall to where they are, who knows what the end of the year looks like? Riverside's a game that's going to be up for them.
Yeah, Riverside's really strong this year.
Yeah, so but as far Riverside, those are your 2 teams, Riverside, Woodbury Central. If you go off the top 10 right now, but Loma's always had a group of kids that have played. That Tri-Center game, I think, even if they don't win that game, but you have to, it is at Tri-Center. But if they can go and compete and accidentally win that way, that might be a huge barnstormer to get them to, as far as the rest of the year. So,
what about St. Albert moving over to playing on artificial turf at Iowa Western? That's a completely different kind of look. And, once upon a time, it was pretty intimidating to go to that hill and play St. Albert. And it's going to be just a different feel now. However, Donnie's been doing such a good job of building that team and building for the future. And he's gotten, you go all the way to what's been happening even down in the middle school and the middle school grades. As kids come in, they sign a letter and here's what we're going to do on the team. And he's laid expectations out perfectly. I've been very impressed with how he has put that team together and the expectations and how he is building what the Falcons are doing.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to remember. I mean, everyone forgets about Donnie. I mean, he played college ball at Maryland.
Yeah.
Of course, they're now a Big Ten school, so I mean, he might know a thing or two about football.
Yeah,
But
he might. Yeah.
maybe but you take a look at what he did at Iowa Western. He went over to Lewis Central. Because I think he kind of came in when Dan Hoke went up to Minnesota. And Dan Hoke's back at Lewis Central now too. But Donnie's got his way of how he wants to play things, and you take a look at St. Albert's. I know they've invested in their weight rooms. That they he's on. They got him working in the school there now. I think that's huge for your football coach. I know he's got the Lear twins that are over there. They're in charge of the wrestling program, but they got people that are in watching these kids. In the PEs and the other stuff, and they're paying attention. And listen, I don't care if it's Gary Swenson up at Spencer, Jim Duggan at Lewis Central, or Camrad's, the PE coach at Lewis Central at high school. But, a lot of them are in a middle school or high school PE room. And they know what the heck's going on with these kids, not only wanting to physically, but hopefully mentally develop them too. And I think Donnie's has been around enough excellent programs, I guess I would say, that I he's pretty excited, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but as far as this fall goes, I think he has reasons to be absolutely, you know, quietly confident. I don't want to say ecstatic, but I think in his mind, and I can't speak for him, he's expected some good things because the kids have worked hard, and frankly, I think in his mind they deserve it. So,
Well, and as we talked about for Tri Center, coaches will tell you they're not defending anything, that it's a
yeah,
different team, and that, but every school that plays Tri Center knows that, oh, this was last year's state champion. So this is our Super Bowl, regardless of what kind of season we're having.
yeah, absolutely. So, and you know what? I mean, you don't like it. I mean, nobody likes it, but it's go big or go home. I'll never forget when LC won their first state title, and I remember Des Moines Richard. They had 5 kids in the top 25 that were all Lewis Central kids. And I went out on Facebook and I had a few LC people mad at me. I said, "It's state title or bust." And there's one in particular. He let me, "You can't put that pressure on kids." I said, "Guess what? Kids are going to feel pressure in life, but this is a positive pressure because you can go out and perform it." And that's what they did. So, now the onus is for them to, I hate to say come back because it is a new team, but for this team to see if they can match what last year's team does. And, the good part about football, you never know what's going to happen. The ball could bounce the wrong way. You have a fumble. You just never know until you get on the football field. The one thing I will say about Tri Center, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but they got Matt Hoke up there at Tri Center. I mean, him and his brother Dan played in Missouri. They're from Harlan. I've met Dan several years ago when he's coaching LC for my older boys. Them guys know football. They know kids. I should say young adults, but kids. They'll be a solid program. Are they able to replace? Are they able to replace the pieces that are gone? A little bit harder at 1A versus 3A or 4A. But at the end of the day, if you don't try, you're not going to do it. So I would expect for them, and I think the rankings show that where they expect them to be, in to talk about hopefully getting back to that point. But listen, their district, their schedule is not going to be easy. I mean, if you take a look at, Tri Center, I mean, you got Underwood Trainer right here in your own backyard that are right nipping at their heels, and so I think as far as Southwest Iowa football, there's gonna be some fun football games at the high school level to go see this fall.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the other two schools that are in Council Bluffs, TJ and AL. These are struggled over the recent years. However, I know, haven't gotten to know Luke Peterson at TJ over the last few years. For him, a big part of that is culture. And for creating an atmosphere where the students believe in what it is that they're doing, long-term coaching and that type of deal. And I think he's getting there. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a different feel. And I think that things are growing at that school.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's and you take a look at it takes time. It takes time to build culture, and I'm going to go back. Listen, this kind of goes back to, Lewis Central. I firmly believe that the reason that LC won their state title in 22 or 21, excuse me, was because of the culture that was put together in 2012 when Jim Duggan came to Lewis Central and he started implementing stuff. He had to go play instead of playing in the Western Iowa Youth, start playing EVW, start playing the Metro Conference, playing better teams, start wanting to see guys in the weight room doing things. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It took time, but you have to start somewhere. And with young adults today or kids today, the ones that want to be serious, I mean, I hate to say it, they're doing athletics all year round, good and bad. From a family aspect, I do worry about for a little bit, but as far as performance aspect, they kind of know what the expectation is, and the ones that are serious, they'll do it. They got a heck of facility to play on. I mean, if I'm taking a look at AL schedule right here, and I pulled it up, I mean, they're playing Lamar's, they're playing at Sioux City North, they got Denison, they got TJ, Johnston, Ames, Des Moines, Roosevelt, Sioux City East, and Ankeny. I mean, to me, that's not exactly, if you look at the state rankings, in 5A, if we go back and we take a look there, um, you know, there's nobody, there's really nobody on their schedule that's, in the top 10 at this point. I guess Ankeny is 10th. Or excuse me, Ankeny's 5th. So, but beyond that, there isn't anybody on their schedule. Sioux City East is 8th. At the end of the day, you got to play the teams that are in front of you. But,
Right.
In the way high school football set up now, I mean, if you're, basically the top half of your district, you're going to get a chance to get into the playoffs. So I think for them, it's just a matter how can you get to 3 wins in your district. If you can get to 3-2 in your district, you've got it. You've got a real chance. And I mean, look at their schedule. I mean, I especially early on, they're to beat Johnston, Sioux City East, or Ankeny. That's going to have to be, that they're going to beat one of them 3 teams along with Roosevelt or Ames. So, but it's up to the kids on the field. So it'll be interesting to watch them and see. And it's like I said, is it year 2 or year 3 for him over there?
Year 3, I believe.
So this is a time where you could turn the corner if you know what I'm saying, as far as if you got the right kids in the program, and where you should turn, start to see some growth in the program. I think it's huge. So,
well, and if you want to go to a great atmosphere for high school football, go to that ALTJ game.
mm-hmm.
Because that no love lost kind of deal. And
Nope.
it doesn't matter what the records are with that kind of thing. It's kind of like anytime the Packers play the Bears.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the records are.
It's kind of like when Iowa State play. They both hate Nebraska, so still managed to get my dig in. So
Look
they
at
can
you.
hate each other, but they both hate Nebraska more. See, it's kind of one of them deals. But no, because ALTJ both hate LC, but
Mhm.
but it's okay. They can hate each other in harmony. And I'm looking at TJ's because TJ should play. Of course, they're 5A technically, but they're playing 4A schedule. TJ, they play Sioux City West early on. They play Storm Lake early on. Sergeant Bluffs ranked, and then they play
Mhm.
Lincoln AL week 4. Week 5. I mean, I listen. If I look at TJ's schedule, and I'd like to see TJ do well. I mean, they're kind of running the same stuff as what AL does. Consistency. I know they've had some, the one thing that's been consistent is they haven't been consistent. And I'm not knocking that. There's reasons that are way beyond a football coach's control for that. But if you can get West and Storm Lake and possibly AL or Denison, you might get to 4 and 5. But their district, they got ADM, they got Glenwood, they got Lewis Central.
Yeah, it's just TJ it's a one of the toughest districts in the state.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I was talking with John Lee. He does the play-by-play for Glenwood. Glenwood's pretty excited about what they're bringing back on their offensive and defensive line. My understanding with Glenwood, is a quarterback situation. They don't have a proven quarterback at this point, and so that's always the unknown. They might have the next Johnny Unitas, and then they might have the next Johnny Manziel. I mean, the Cleveland Browns version of Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd take Manziel in college anytime, but
Yeah, man, but as far as Glenwood goes, that is, I mean, I think they're pretty excited to see what they do.
yeah, Glenwood plays in that same really, really tough district.
Yeah.
However, I think that they can be in the best position just because they're kind of a sleeper. When you talk about that district, you got ADM and you got Lewis Central, and you're talking about the top end of it. But Glenwood has the skills to beat these teams.
Yeah,
It's obviously, if the ball bounces right, you never know what can happen. So, and if anybody overlooks them, they can sneak in there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, there's been years. I mean, a couple years ago, I think what LC won the state title, and was it 23? To where they played each other twice, and it was a pretty close game the first time. It was like a one touchdown game, and then the second time came around, and LC kind of blew the doors off of them. So and if you got to go play, at Glenwood, and like I said, LC's got Glenwood in home this year. And I'm telling you, they got ADM at home. The bad part is 3 of their last 5 games are on. Well, I'll tell you about. Yeah, let's see. They're at LC. They're at TJ. So I misspoke on that. But yeah, I think they're predicted to be finish behind LC at ADM. But that ADM game for them could be huge as far as playoff implications and what happens with the district. And if they find a quarterback, be great. I know one of these years they felt like they've kind of had Harlan's now. Harlan's had their number a little bit to where they've been close games, but Harlan gets them at this moment. And of course, if you've lived in Southwest Iowa, whether you love, hate him, or otherwise, Harlan's Harlan. And but they didn't want to play LC week 1, but I see they're playing. They're playing Glenwood their traditional week 2 game. So
well, before we run out of time, because we really haven't talked much about Underwood. This is 2 years ago they made it to the state championship game. Last year they came up 1 game shy of the dome, and they've still got they have some horses there.
Oh yeah,
and I think that scheduling Harlan right out of the gate is because schools have a little bit of say over these non-district games. And after talking with Tyler up there at Underwood, he said, yeah, we want this game. And it wasn't just hyperbole to try to pump your team up. They really want the game.
Yeah. Here's what I will tell you right now. Harlan wanted nothing to do with LC week 1. Matter of fact, from what I said after last year, Harlan didn't want much to have to do with LC, and I had that from a very confident source. So you would have called me out otherwise. But that's and LC's playing Harlan week 3, and if Harlan had their druthers, they probably wouldn't put in that game. So if that's bulletin board material, it is what it is. But I think we'll go back to Underwood. That's a huge game for them, because if they could pull that off, and listen, Underwood's got athletes. They've always got good wrestling pro. They've got good, just like Trainer. They've got good kids. They got good athletes. If they could pull that off week 1 versus Harlan beat a 3A school, look what that does for the rest of their schedule, because there's not a team on their schedule that they can't beat. Their toughest game is probably Tri-Center and Trainer back-to-back weeks, and they get them both at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be for the district right there. If Underwood could go 2-0 against them guys at home, they're probably your district champs. So which is huge. So so that's actually really it's going to be really exciting for them, if you know what I'm saying. So.
Well, again, it's preseason stuff. It's hard to know exactly where everybody's at. It's kind of like I've always wondered why they start doing college bowl projections before the season even starts, which I've already seen some of those things. It's like, why?
Yeah,
There's no reason to talk about that. But
with the Iowa high school playoffs, the thing is, if you can get into the playoffs, if you can get on a roll, if you can get a schedule lines up for you, never know what's going to happen. Because with like I said, you just take a look. It's the unknown. There's always the assumption, but I've just seen enough with high school football. About the time you assume, and then the unexpected will happen. So I think it'll be huge. I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens, and it's going to be exciting. I'm going to tell you what, with Tri-Center, Trainer, and Underwood, that whole district. I mean, you're going to have a whole lot of games there. I think they're going to be, a lot of fun for local fans to see. So
as this is released, it is Thursday, and that means Underwood is at Harlan tonight. So that I'm thinking that's good. Yeah.
Sorry, I went to Spencer. I played Harlan in the playoffs in the 90s. I have my bias.
That Underwood's going to travel well. Harlan's not that far away, and that's a huge game. Underwood will have a crowd there. So and Harlan always draws well.
This is not 1990 Todd Brantz, the running back for Harlan, Iowa. For the Harlan Community Cyclones. So I would not be surprised if Underwood wins that game at all, and I'd be tickled pink. So I hope they do. So.
High school football getting underway. Thank you so much, Travis. Appreciate your time. Looking forward to having these conversations throughout the season, and we don't really have time today, but we need to talk a little bit about college football sometime soon too. So we'll carve off some time to make that happen.
Sounds good.
We should be in the 70s for games both tonight and tomorrow night as we get ready for kickoff. And I love this time of year. And a lot of excitement all around Southwest Iowa and especially in Council Bluffs. So, again, get out there, support your local team, support the young people. Don't forget to support the volleyball teams this fall. Cross country is competing. You're going to see some boys golf, some girls tennis. All of this is going on at the high school level right now. Good luck, athletes. Everybody stay healthy. And we're looking forward to a great fall season. Attention developers, engineers, and tech innovators, mark your calendar for AIM Institute's Heartland Developers Conference. It's going on September 30th and October 1st at the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs. For over 15 years, the Heartland Developers Conference has been the go-to event for Silicon Prairie developers. Keynote speakers, deep dive breakout sessions, an exhibitor hall, hands-on demonstrations, and invaluable networking opportunities. I'm planning on being there. I hope you are too. You can get your tickets online by visiting hdc.aiminstitute.org. And thank you again to Bryce Taylor with GLI Insurance Group, a local and family-owned independent insurance group and helping people find the best possible plan for them for over a decade. Bryce's office just up the road from Council Bluffs in Crescent. And because he is the founder of the Facebook group Council Bluffs Food Lovers, Bryce and I go out and do food reviews / spotlights of area restaurants. And the last one that we did was earlier this week when we went to La Carreta Rosa. So go back, watch that show. It's La Carreta Rosa is just one of those places. It's got a lot of charm, not a lot of seats. There's only about 8 tables in the place, but I was seeing takeout coming out of there fairly quickly, and just wonderful, authentic Mexican food. And I would encourage you to go to that. La Carreta Rosa is on South Main. I should probably check with them, see if they want to be a sponsor, huh? All right. So, but Bryce and I do those. I'm not sure where we're going next, but I'm looking forward to it. So go watch that show. And we will let you know where the next stop will be coming up very, very soon. Wrapping up today's show. Thank you so much, Travis, for giving us the high school football preview. And we look forward to updates throughout the football season. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.